frustration turn into elation as you turn your head to self-isolation decoration.
Hello there, Phil here from Paint the Town Green, giving you some hopefully useful decorating tips so you can get some little jobs done around the house while you're stuck inside. So today you find me in my daughter's wardrobe painting shelves. These shelves went in 2 years ago I'm being told, and I was going to paint them soon. Well, here we are 2 years later painting them. First thing I'm going to do is fill all the screw holes. Now before I go any further, I'm going to be totally honest. Some of the things that I'm going to be doing in this video are not completely best practice, and they're not what I'd expect my team to do when they're working on people's properties. Some of the products that I'm going to use. The reason for that is that all the shops are shut. I wasn't expecting to be stuck inside doing little DIY videos, and we're also in self-isolation because my wife isn't very well. So I'm having to make do with what I can find in the shed. So I will tell you when I'm using the wrong products, but it also, I'm having to sort of improvise a bit, which I think you're probably going to have to do as well. Part of the reason for this is getting things done while you're stuck at home. So it's never going to be an ideal situation, but hopefully we can make do. So I'm filling screw holes at the moment. The ideal best practice would be using a 2-part wood filler. And if I had one, that's what I'd use, but I don't. So I'm using a powder filler, the same product that we saw me using for filling walls. I'm now using it to fill screw holes on shelves. You can do that, it's not the end of the world. But best practice would be a 2-part wood filler, and that's what we'd use if we were out on a professional job. But we're not, and we've had to make do with what we found in the shed. So I'm looking for all the little screw holes that I can find. There's a little one there, a little one here, and there's a whole load down here. All these little screw holes, which will jump out as little black dots once the surfaces are painted. So we fill them now before we even start thinking about priming. And once it's done, we leave all the filler to dry. Okay, so just a little point I want to make about filling these screw holes. Just like when we were filling the cracks in the wall the other day, you don't want to be scraping all the filler off. You want to be leaving a little sort of millimetre or so coating. Do you want to come in and just zoom in on this? You want to be leaving about a millimetre or so proud over it, so that when the filler shrinks and you sand it, it sounds flat. The chances are we'll probably have to do a second fill on top of this anyway, because it's unlikely to get it perfect first time. But if you scrape it all off like this, so it's absolutely flat, that will almost certainly sink in, and you'll definitely have to do a second fill on that. So if you just give you a little kind of coating there, just sort of half a millimetre or so, gives you a bit of shrinkage, and then reduces the chances you're going to need to do such a big second fill before it's absolutely flat and invisible, which is what we're trying to achieve. We're trying to create a situation where all these screw holes become invisible and you can't find them once it's all painted. Okay, so our filler is now dried, and what I've also done with the filler, if you can come in and I'll just show you, you'll see I've filled on these edges. So these are cut edges of MDF. Now, these tend to, what we call, fur up when you cut them. So you don't get a nice, clean, flat edge. So you often find you have to sand them back. And just to make them even smoother, what I've done is I've put a layer of filler on that edge as well. So it goes in and it just kind of, it stops that furring up happening so much. Each coat I put on, I'm going to be giving them a light rub down all these cut edges to keep them nice and smooth. But it's a great start to get some filler on them as well. And it just takes all the sort of undulation out of it a little bit. So I'm going to sand all this filler down. We've filled all the screw holes, these are the white spots everywhere. Okay, so I've finished sanding all my filler and all my edges, and I'm just going down now with my dusting brush. And if you haven't got a dusting brush, you can use a paintbrush, it's absolutely fine. Although ideally not the one you're about to paint with, use an old paintbrush. And I'm sweeping all the filler into little piles. If you come in here, see what I've done already. On each surface, there's a pile of filler dust. And can you reach up here? Well done. Okay, what I've not done is just brushed it all off onto the floor. because then it's just spreading the dust around the area I'm working. So I've actually dusted it very gently, with little stabbing motions into a central pile. I'm going to get my hoover up these little piles of dust. There's none around the rest of the room, and then I can start painting.